Yu-Gi-Oh players are not happy right now. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that YCS Pittsburgh button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So I wanted to talk about a lot of the general feedback that I was just seeing in the comments section for most of day 2 with the player base. I got to give it to the player base. No matter what they do, and as things fall over here, they're never truly going to be happy with things. One of the biggest things that I was really reading from the player base this weekend was, I'll be on this, I'll be on that, ban that stupid Albion. Albion is, they're causing all these Floodgate problems. And it's like, okay, but Konami's been slowly taking care of these problem cards to allow Albion the fundamental chance to stay around. Now, at this point in time, why are you upset because an Archer or Christia is involved? Are you upset because people are playing Incantation Bookstore now? Like, come on, guys. I get it. I do. But if we really want to have something to complain about here, I think we need to mosey on over to the water barrier statue. That was another one of the biggest complaints that I had heard from this weekend. I can't believe that Konami sat here and they banned all of these cards. And it's like, great, now they can search for the water barrier statue. This card is just causing so many issues. Yeah, and you know what I heard from some of the commentators? Just normal summon the Lucius and attack over it. It's not the hardest card in the world to have to out. And that's kind of what I was seeing. Like, I talked about the water barrier statue was going to be a problem. We made a whole fucking video about it last week, telling you guys, hey, somebody had figured this out. Somebody had made a post talking about it publicly. We were allowed to talk about it. It wasn't that it was going to be this strange surprise element. I don't know why, this turns into an absolute shit-eating fest that everybody's like, it's like you guys didn't see it coming. Don't tell me that you didn't see it coming. All right, 7 Tachyon's a hell of a card. You knew that Konami leaving barrier statues alone. Now, fundamentally, you can make the argument of, we don't really need to ban the dark barrier statue because, dark is usually the strongest element in the game, and it only becomes an issue when Konami decides to do what they did with Year of the Fire and actually promote other attributes within the circle. But, yes, water barrier statue is a problem. Now, you heard me mention at the beginning of this video, I talked about the Incantation Bookstore a little bit already, but just to refresh people's minds here, the Kinkuri, you guys remember the Imperial Princess rank 5? Well, we have another stupid card that we can hand over to our opponent. Now, this time, instead of putting, we're just making it so they just simply can't special summon. Which is really inconvenient. Now, if I were to hand this to a Monarch player, they'd say, thanks, bro, I appreciate the tribute fodder, and I would just proceed to lose to a Majesty's being tribute off of it. That's a story for another day. But it appears that, players are continuing to go down the list of floodgates here, and they are really trying to find some sort of advantage piece that they can. There also was Quackimero Draco floating around too, but Quackimero Draco is just something that you bring off of spheres, and it acts as a 0/0 defensive wall. Like, dealing with a 0/0 is not the hardest thing in the world. At least the minute I get a monster to stick, I'm gonna take care of the problem, and that's fine, man. I don't think people truly appreciate, so they think all floodgates are bad, but not all floodgates are, necessarily created equally. Look at the light barrier statue, for example. I feel like that card was the most unplayed of them all. But players right now are not happy because, one, we just came off of an emergency list. we took care of Protoss, we took care of all of this other stuff. You know, Draco Tail has now become a much more playable deck. Actually, I think we can officially say, everybody, guys ready for me to say it? Draco Tail might actually be better than Yummy Mitsurugi. Prepare to cry about it, because it's going to turn into, oh my god, Ketu Draco Tail needs to be limited to one. Konami out here. I mean, the only thing that this has done is now, when you go to play locals, you're going to have a lot of people shifting away from Yummy Mitsurugi, and they're just going to be naturally drifting towards Draco Tail to play. Now, does Draco Tail take a lot of setup? Does it take a lot of knowledge? I mean, no. Setting 3 cards is pretty ignorant, and I mean forgivable. You know, having a 5-minute a fusion summon during the opponent's turn is a little bit annoying, but these things they're not hard to play around. An average Draco Tail turn is actually do I get to say it? It's shorter than a Mitsurugi Yummy player's turn. Mitsu-Yummy, by no stretch of the imagination, is a dead deck at this point. If you are thinking that, you know, suddenly because Draco Tail ended up winning an event, that suddenly, you know, our Yummy Mitsurugi overlords are leaving us. No. You're finally actually just starting to see the vision of basically a actual 2-deck format coming off of the constant grind that we've been having, just fighting back and forth with each other. But it's actually nice for once. I actually feel like I feel like this isn't a terrible format, but you know, you're gonna have the constant, you know, oh, Princess Kanguri's broken, you know, Albion is still a problem. How dare Albion still do this? You got people complaining about the Fallen and the Virtuous in the background. You know, being able to send a specific card from the extra deck to fuel this removal piece is a little bit potentially annoying, but there's a lot to kind of take away with this format. You know, no matter how angry this community gets and how upset that they get, you know, you still come back to this game. You still choose to play it. And, you know, at this point in time, I think you've got your line in the sand right now for kind of what we're expecting for a while now. I think that's actually pretty good. Now that Pittsburgh is come and gone, we do have Phantom Revenge coming. Any craft will shake things up because, you know, players aren't going to read cards, and they're going to be very, very shocked when, you know, these flip effect monsters are triggering and doing all this bullshit stuff, hand ripping and all that. And then also, you know, the good old, I can't remember their name. I just remember Heck of Hands, because you're going to get a spell card called Hella Hands later on. That's been the joke the whole time. You know, we will have some sort of change, hopefully, with that set. I mean, Chimera becomes a slightly better deck, but we have to be patient right now. We have to actually take a step back from this. We have to understand that the emergency list was meant to fix the immediate problems and was here to make the YCS more watchable. And having watched this YCS, it was more watchable. And I think that was the improvement, honestly. I didn't want to sit here and watch, oh my god, Protoss has touchdown on the field. Holy shit, he's locking his opponent. His opponent drew for turn. His opponent's furiously hand shuffling their hand. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Me going into turn. So I'm underneath Protoss. I can't resolve anything. You have... I know you searched a hand trap or two. Okay, stand by main phase. Okay. Proceed to look through hand. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna concede here so we can go to the next game. Oh, you have Fua and you have another Mulch Army. Ooh, you know, yeah. I choose to hit the concede button there because there is no physical way to play around that. But now it's more watchable because Draco Tail stuff's resolving and it actually looks a little bit better. But please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys.
Patrons!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.